Hi, Lorianne. It's so great to see you after all these meetings, listening to you play. Finally, I'm seeing you. Thank you
But
for being on my show.
you are so welcome. It is so my honor and privilege to be here. I feel all special. Thank you so much.
Yes. So tell us where you are right now. I'm in New York City.
I am in Vancouver, Canada. Deep
Beautiful.
Cove to be precise. Deep Cove. It's
Deep.
a it's outside, just about 20 minutes from downtown Vancouver.
Very, very nice. I always heard Vancouver is like a travel, one of the best place for people to travel, and I always want to go. And you have a huge Chinese population in
Hmm.
Vancouver,
Yeah,
right?
very much so. Yeah.
Yeah, you get a
And
lot.
an amazing Chinatown, and yeah,
Yeah,
it's part of our life here for sure. It's the culture is, the restaurants, it's part of Vancouver, very much so.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So, yeah, you're very active on Clubhouse, and you also have a great collections on Spotify, and you have recorded many albums, perhaps 8 of them. So you're just very prolific pianist and composer. So tell us a little bit, like where all this artistic juice came from. Is your parent Are your parents musicians, or do you grew up in this music environment?
I don't feel like I grew up in a music environment. I grew up in a wilderness community, a logging and farming community in British Columbia, central British Columbia. And it was a very small, tight knit community in the middle of nowhere, very beautiful nature, like absolutely, absolutely beautiful. And so I think, nature was my first teacher. Nature was there's just vast, tracts of land, and, the freedom, and very simple life. And I think that probably had a big influence on being connected to creativity, especially spending so much time alone. Then what do children do? They create, they make things. And so pretty sure that was more helpful than I realized. That when I went to university, I kind of lamented that I had such a late start. But when I think about it now, I can see how I really got deeply connected to that inner voice that we create from. And I didn't have a piano. Me, my aunties, I had lots of aunts and uncles, and they were the type that sang around the campfire. And so my aunties sang, my uncles would play the guitar, and there are many, again, like in those childhood years of just sitting out at a campfire under like this amazing skies and listening to singing. And so probably that created maybe a love of piano. I mean, a love of music, but I really don't know where the classical music interest came from. And I don't even know really where the piano interest came from. I never even seen one until it was rolled into my grade three classroom. And from the moment I heard it, like my little friend Jackie Bischoff, who still lives up there, still a friend, she could play it a little bit, and I just wanted to play that piano, and I wanted to learn classical music. And I asked for a piano. I then begged for a piano, and then I became the squeaky wheel for a piano, both to the teachers at the school, to my parents. But for my parents, who were, they were working hard, to them to invest in a piano seemed like a really big long shot. Like kids just start something and then they quit. And so they were like, "Well, no, you're not really serious." And I mean, they didn't say that. That was just their thinking. I'm paraphrasing their thinking, but I'll tell you, I went on for 5 years about that piano until finally the local music teacher rolled into our yard with his piano back of a pickup truck. So then I had a piano, and always been self-directed and wanted to learn classical music. The spark for it, I'm not sure. Writing music came easily. and was a great medicine for my heart.
That's just amazing that your story about the local teacher would just, you know, gift you a piano. You don't hear that very often, right?
I
So
know.
how does he? Are you keep in touch with him? Like, did he know eventually you play, you record, you compose?
He passed away at a young, like he wasn't like some old person, but he passed away without really seeing this come to fruition in the way that it has. I know. I've been always so grateful to him, and I was at the time before the piano, I would be practicing at the school after school. I try to do it that way. Could I use the school piano? And some, like just a few years ago, speaking of people reflecting on where I am now, I got this Facebook message from a girl that I went to elementary school with there, and she had a troubled time at home and would be staying after school, and she commented on how good for her heart it was to hear, like, down the hallways, deserted hallways, would be that piano in the school as I tried to practice and study there. So I thought that was really sweet. So yeah,
Yeah.
at
So,
each word.
yeah, I know your music. You're influenced by some of the classical composer like Chopin, Debussy, and in those days, right? Like I would say, maybe a decade, more than a decade ago, we don't have like YouTube like today, right? We can listen to anything we want to. So, do you remember how did you hear these music? Do you use like a record player or CD or tape? How?
We didn't have any records. I didn't hear any music until I went to university. I mean, once I got into the music department, like, and that's a long story. I mean, that's a story of more adversity that I actually finally got into, a very, very highly acclaimed music school for piano. And it was just like I had arrived finally at the oasis. That's when I heard the first that's when I studied Western music history and Western art history and culture and philosophy. And there was a huge expansion, and I met students in studying music who'd been studying music since they were 4. Their parents had been taking them to the opera since they were 4. I just marveled at those kind of stories. But for me, it was a little bit different journey that way. So I think if I heard music at home, which I did, of course, all around there were dances, community dances. It was all country and Western music, and there was lots of that, and people enjoyed music very much. And one of my uncles listened to Elvis Presley, maybe someone else listened to something else, but at home we didn't really. And once we got to high school, I guess there were a few records around that. My brother had a car that he could play some music in, and so then there was some pop music, that kind of thing. But those composers, it wasn't until I went to university. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be professing that, but
Mhm.
that's the truth of it. So
Yeah, yeah. No, it's looking back, my musical training. I studied violin when I was late, also 11.
uh-huh.
Yeah, and the, we don't have a record player. The radio does not play classical music.
Mhm.
By radio, for children, they tell stories or they sing these revolutionary songs. So I didn't really have any exposure until later in college. Also, yeah. So, but you're very versatile. I think for people who are on Clubhouse, where I get to know you, is that we know you're a piano player and you're a composer, and you have this distinguished style, which is very calm, also very therapeutic, and it's a very very nice style, a little bit Chopin, a little bit Debussy,
Mhm.
a
Mhm.
little bit French music.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I realized by reading your biography, and you're a sports person when you were young. Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, you're a ski coach, and you do, all kinds of adventure some sports. Tell us a little bit.
Yeah, well, one thing there was no shortage of was the opportunity to run, jump, climb, and I had a brother a year older than me, so I was always tagging along with him and his friends, and I liked the challenge of competing on their levels, and I always played rough and tumble games, so I grew strong. I had a lot of actually natural athletic ability. And, you know, in those early years, I won all the track meets, I was always got all the blue ribbons, and I could just run like the wind and jump. And it was very natural for me. And I even went to like provincials in track and field. And in high school, I won, best female athlete of the year award because I was, a star in basketball and in volleyball and in soccer and in track and field. And so all of that was such a joy. That was just really, I mean, training. I love training. I think that's why also I've piano's kept my attention all these years, because with sports, there's always these incremental gains, like, and you train and you train and you train for incremental gains. And that's the same with music. You train and train, and this joy and this incremental gain that all of a sudden, and so I still love that about sports. I still love that about music. So after I finished all those team sports, then I went into individual sports, and that's when the adventure stuff started. So I was whitewater kayaking, I was mountaineering, that shifted into big water skiing, snow skiing chapter where, toured with the Canadian telemark team. I started ski racing and telemark racing, and I just had I like my first year, I came fifth in BC, and in telemarking, eventually I was like third in North America for, in the North Americans. And so then that led into just more and more high adventure kind of endeavors with the mountains, and that extreme sport mindset. It's so exhilarating. So I did that for a long time, loved it. And up to current time, I'm still really, really passionate about slalom water skiing, and that's where I get my adrenaline fix. And road riding a bike, it's just something that's always been a part of my life, doing athletics. So still
That's
going
wonderful.
strong.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And you have this discipline, right? I think sports and music have similar in that sense, and need to persistent, and practice is not just once a week. There's a lot of the things out every day for music, and sports is the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Exactly.
you need to train your muscle, and train your mind has to be strong, right? And yeah, so there's also a lot of spacious skill. You need to know your space, your kinesthetic, they call something like that. And yeah, and music too, right? When you play the piano, or string instruments, so other instruments, so that's so wonderful. And with
And I want to add one more
yeah,
thing. It's
yeah,
very right brain too. Music is very right brain, but so I see it, I visualize it, I feel it in my body. It's very somatic and nonverbal. It's visual. If I can see it, I can do it. And music's nonverbal. It's a right side. Creativity's right side. So
right, yeah. So tell us a little bit about your music. Would you like to demonstrate a little bit? I know the audio StreamYard is limited. Would you like to play something for us, and then we can talk about it, and then maybe later we can play some of the music on Spotify?
sure. I'll play. I guess this is one of the earliest pieces that I still play all the time. I mean, there's lots of early pieces, but I still love this one. And it's called First Snow. And even in my recordings, it shows up multiple times with either a remix or then I arrange it for orchestra, and it's one of these pieces that are really pivotal for me at certain times, and it's called For Snow. So I'm going to unplug here, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
That,
Ching.
that sounds really good. That sounds very, very good, actually. That,
Good.
yeah, yeah. We did an extensive sound check, and this was the best.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear
awesome,
that.
awesome. So tell us a little bit about where is this song come from? Lalo said, "First Snow is my favorite
I
song."
know.
Hi,
See,
Lalo.
I can't see who's here, but I was hoping Lala was here, and
Oh,
yeah, I
you
know
you
that's
click
his
on
favorite song.
comments. Click on comments.
Oh,
Then you
okay.
get to see.
Click
Yeah,
on comments.
yeah,
Oh, yes, I see.
yeah, yeah. So nice.
Wonderful.
Lalo is here supporting us.
Mhm.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit. What is the inspiration coming from composing this?
Well, inspiration is hard to capture in words, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not like saying, "Oh, I saw the Eiffel Tower and I felt like writing a piece of music." But I can tell you that it's a feeling and a zone, and that feeling I had one day, because remember I'm in the country at this point when I was working on this piece, when it was starting to come to me, I was in the country, and in a field, and it's winter. It's not winter, it's like late fall. So everything's gray, and all the trees are barren, and the sky is completely gray, and there's this hush. And that just those first little, not big snowflakes, just this little delicate falling of snow starts to happen, the first snow. And anyway, that was very evocative for me, and so it was the spark, and the title comes from that. But in the end, really, I mean, I write the music based on what it wants, and then I give it its title, but it's almost like it comes, it's a certain vibe, it's its own character and entity, and then I'm tasked with the mission of finding its title, so to speak. But yeah.
So you have written quite a lot of composition. Do you have a number like if you did an 8 album, each album is what, how many songs? Like
Some of those songs are repeating with different
uh,
arrangements, some
okay,
of them,
yeah,
but I have not counted. Actually, I have not counted. I should
mm,
go to my performing rights organization list. I could
yeah,
count them there.
mm,
But I've forgotten a lot too. Like
mm.
I've written them and then I wouldn't value them, or they'd go by the wayside. But there's been so much music that's even come and gone that I wish I'd hung on to that one better. Yeah.
So what is the process for you? I'm sure maybe you have different time, different way of writing. Like, do you just play on the piano to compose, or do you have in your head and then go back to the keyboard? Do you write it down? How does the whole process of your music, how you create?
Yeah, I write at the piano. And my first 2 albums, after it was recorded, then I scored it all, because I knew that when I performed it, I wanted to perform it like it was recorded and all by hand. And I think even because I had session players on some of those, I had to score it out anyway. Certainly know how to score music, but it is tedious and laborious and time consuming. And so consequently, subsequent music has come and I haven't scored it. And that's what I mean. Some of it I've, just didn't keep up rehearsing it. So then it fades or I forget about it. And so I write at the piano, and the inspiration comes there and I write there.
Awesome. Awesome. So, with the new technology, right? We did not grow up in this digital world. I did not grow up digital world.
Mhm.
Now that you have recording, you have audio recording, you have video recording, how do you utilize these technology? And you become like quite techie these days.
I have become very techie, and I love techie. I mean, I have creds for being the first, neoclassical pianist in the metaverse. Like, I mean, people have POAPs for that. Of course, it's maybe not so cool now, but when I did that concert in 2021 in Clubhouse and in the metaverse, that was a lot of fun. I love the combination of art and tech, and seeing how you can't actually participate in the world in at least the way I want to participate, without developing a lot of tech stuff. And thanks, Lalo. Yeah, and I have discovered that I can, just with perseverance, keep poking away at things and figure it out. And if there's one thing I have through my whole life, is perseverance. So I have the perseverance to stick with something, like whether it's designing like I created a website, took me 2 weeks, and I just kept at it, click click click, till I found how to do it. And so
You design your own website?
yeah. And
Oh my God.
so the
That's
one,
awesome.
yeah, and the current one is actually not my design. I'm speaking of
Oh,
the one before it, and it was really, if I do say so, it was really good. But I can work on this one, and I've been editing it myself and doing a lot of. They didn't finish it
Oh,
They had to go on to something, and so, but I know how to work Wix, so I work on that. I can,
that's awesome.
yeah. So so what was your question again, Ching? It
Oh,
was kind of like,
let me see, what was my question?
how about something? Yeah, well, something. I would become quite techy.
Yeah, techie, yeah. I
Mhm.
want to show now that you talk about this. So this is designed by someone else, but you can go in there to add.
Edited, yeah, like I put
That's
the
so cool.
copy in, I work on it, whatever,
Yeah,
update it, do
yeah.
what's yeah.
That's great. That's great. And I have a feeling if this is done by Wix, probably you can also do it from very scratch, right?
I
Mm.
did, my other one I did from scratch,
Oh, okay.
and, I mean, some say that I should if I hadn't already paid someone something for this, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm being perfectly transparent, I would just be using my other one 'cause it's actually really good and maybe a little more functional than the kinda design that we're working with here, but
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. So tell us a little bit about your website. So the we call the homepage
mhm,
has your picture and has a biography here, right? And you
mhm,
can read more. And then go to Clubhouse. Now I saw this feature is pretty cool,
mhm.
right?
Isn't that
Yeah,
great? Yeah,
yeah.
because I feel like Clubhouse is a big part of my life right now. I love Clubhouse, and, for so many reasons.
Uh-huh.
So, it's kind of my invitation on there to say, "Hey, come share this space with me." So,
Yeah. You should be on the you should be a icon uh Clubhouse, like just like Lalo. So that's pretty cool design. And then has your oh yeah, this is the music. We can actually play from your website.
yeah, and that's to Spotify,
Uh-huh.
and but then you can also play the albums. There's 6 albums on this, if you keep scrolling, so that takes you to
Oh,
Spotify, but this
oh,
keeps you on the website, and you can actually play when you click on that, it takes you to
this one.
a different page. Here we go, to a different
Oh,
page, and
oh,
now you can play it. You can actually and
cool.
then you can click out that, yeah, and,
Oh,
um
let's try one.
mhm.
Which one? Brother?
Sure.
Okay. So tell us why called brother. Uh,
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, my brother, well, he was the baby of our family, and he was killed in a car accident.
Oh no.
But he wasn't a baby then, 33, and when on Boxing Day he went to a dance and didn't come home, and so there's just a grief that I've never known like that. Like that was such a profound grief. And I wrote this piece of music for him. And
Hmm,
it's called
that's
Simply
beautiful.
Brother. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Okay. Let me see if I can click on it. Hmm. Maybe not.
Oh, you have to go. I think, can you click on the picture of can you scroll just a little bit? It's below the album picture. I can't see it here, but there's a picture of the album, right? No, the cover is not showing. Sorry, come back. Cover
Um,
is not showing. I wish I could. Yeah, there's no cover there.
okay.
It
Yeah.
should be
The
able to.
cover was earlier. I see it earlier. Yeah. Let me see if I can go back.
It should be there too, but
Okay. This
you
is the
can click on it. See if
cover.
maybe it'll correct itself going back
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
No, it's not giving it to
Yeah.
us.
We
See if
can
it
just
will
go to
play,
yeah, we can just hold on one
you
second.
you can get it from Spotify. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We can go to I'm gonna close this, and then I will go to present screen and Spotify.
Okay,
And
I have to I'm gonna comment here to Lalo. If I can
okay, all right.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
we're in Spotify.
Yes,
Yes.
there we
Okay, let me play some of it.
go. Mhm.
Great. Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. So, yeah, that was beautiful. Did you have a two cello or one cello?
One cello.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sound very nice.
Mhm.
Um,
I'd love to do more of that, piano and cello. I love that combination, hey?
right.
Cello and piano.
Yeah. That's very beautiful. So, now you went through quite a lot of personal um difficulties, and do you care to talk about it? Because I didn't ask you earlier.
Hmm.
Because I know yeah, I know you went through some pretty dramatic personal difficulties
Mhm.
with your health.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about it. I feel a little bit like everybody goes through, epic issues, and I mean, I really have I really conclude that everyone is the epic hero or heroine at the center of their epic story. So, but I'm happy to talk about mine if it's helpful, but like I say, there's way more suffering out there in the world than maybe what I might have encountered on my journey. So, but if I'm happy to talk about it, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Tell us about, like, you have to conquer cancer.
Yeah, it actually started. Uh, there's a period of time that it was a number of things. So if I could just like give this overview, then the cancer gets put into a little bit more of a context. But it's like my best friend since childhood, she got cancer, and we're like, oh my god! And so for a year, I'm supporting her, and then lo and behold, I get a cancer diagnosis, and of all the things we thought we'd share as young women, that wasn't one of them. And she passed and I lived. And so, yes, there was this first cancer diagnosis. So I actually had two. So the first one was, invasive, aggressive, poorly, like a really bad diagnosis. And so that journey to health at that time was very, um, my I guess my perseverance and my rebelliousness was an asset, because I made decisions and made choices that were not necessarily in alignment with conventional treatments. And so, but it was an arduous path because there was a lot more to do than, like I declined some of the treatments at the risk of my own life, but I felt in my gut, in my intuition, that these kinds of choices that I wanted to make were right for me. But it was still incredibly frightening to go against what, like I remember I wasn't going to do the chemo and radiation, and my surgeon looked at me like I had two heads and said, like, are you kidding me? Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Like, given a group of women doing the chemo and radiation, a group not, well, this group does way better. And I was like, well, I'm not a statistic, and, kind of, but I won't lie to you, I was terrifying at the same time. It sounds all so brave, but these were hard decisions. But, over time with I changed out my whole diet. I did all these, health promoting kinds of things. And so that was quite a long journey, and I did lots of specialized kinds of treatments. And I remember going back to my oncologist who, I had explained to her that, thank you, but I'm not going to take, your treatment, but would you still track me? Would you mind? And she's just so lovely. And she said she would, because, I needed to be checked every few months. And I remember sitting on her examining table, and she's going, you're really grossly undertreated. I'm really worried. And in my head, I'm thinking, oh my God, I've got so many treatments. I can't even keep my head swimming, but they were in an unconventional, not in complementary medicine, not in conventional medicine, like complementary acupuncture. I had an amazing traditional Chinese doctor, TCM, who I saw him 3 times a week, acupuncture and Chinese herbs, and that I go down to Chinatown and get this bag that I'd have to, boil for 4 hours. Yeah. And for years I did that.
It's so bitter. You're brave. I hate drinking those things.
Horrible. It's and the smell in the house, horrible, But then that's one thing. So the thing I want to say too is just before I got the cancer diagnosis, my second album, In Search of Wings, had gotten national airplay, national distribution. I was played on CBCs all across the country, and a distributor picked me up, and I was selling across Canada, and it garnered me the support of an executive producer to pay for the next album, which was that's a dream come true. And a week before the diagnosis, a week before recording, I got that diagnosis, which just derailed everything. And so then that was that. And I went into that whole dark night of working towards saving my life, without exaggeration. Anyway, I fell in love with that man, and he was like my soulmate. And so there's a silver lining in that, and he was very much the man I was going to spend the rest of my life with. Well, lo and behold, 6 years later, he gets cancer, and I'm in remission. He gets cancer, and then 3 months later, I get cancer again. And so he dies, I live. And
oh my God.
I know, right? And
oh my God.
Then 8 months later, that's when my brother was killed in a car accident. About 8 months after that, so I have my daughter's father got a brain tumor. My own father got cancer. My father survived. Her father passed. All of that within a very 12 years, short period of time. It was a lot to digest. So I left music, actually. I couldn't quite focus anymore. It was
wait, let me interrupt. Why so many cancers? Do you think that water or air has problem?
I don't know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. All these people pretty close, area, right?
Let me think. No. They're all in completely, not a close area at all.
Oh my God.
I know.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh gosh. So the second one, was it a little easier than the first one?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a little easier. Yeah. It was almost like my body had strengthened, and it wasn't as onerous as the first one. Yeah, it was easier somehow. Yeah, truly. And I'd already done so much, all the bases were covered. And here's what I think is interesting is then I moved into this area of psychoneuroimmunology, how does the mind impact the body? And I became a facilitator in something called, thank you. I became a facilitator of this technique or this modality that's energy psychology. And so I went deep into my own, healing the belief sets, the subconscious belief sets that, sort of the operating system of the body, because I'm doing everything else. How can my body still not be imbalanced such that it's manifesting that again? And so and then I had this amazing recovery. I say it was easier because I did this inner work. And because of that, all these people started coming to me for healing and sessions. So I ended up leaving music and just focused on my own, inner work and supporting like hundreds and hundreds of people. Like, became a full-time facilitator and that
Healer.
healer. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a hard word to use. Some people like it, some people don't, but that's
Oh,
correct. Yeah.
wow. That's a lot of hardships to deal with. That's amazing. Yeah. And you're so strong. And
Mm-hmm.
Lalo made a comment. You are one of the strongest people I've known.
Oh, thank
So
you.
so
Thank you so
nice.
much.
So this whole health situation in this 12 years, and also the death of all your so many friends.
Loved ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
did my closest.
do
Yeah.
you so now do you keep a special diet, or how do you do you exercise, like how do you maintain, and you look really great.
I maintain. That's the right word. Exactly. So if you do the research, you'll see that if all you did was eat an alkaline kind of diet, you reduce your risk of any major disease by 65%. And
What's
it's the same
alkaline?
65%, or a
Mm.
healthy diet.
Oh,
There's different ways of looking at that. I could go down a big rabbit hole for that. And same with exercise. If all you did was exercise, you would reduce your risk of all kinds of things by 65%. So I figured the best thing I can do is exercise and have this like amazingly healthy regime, and I do, and I'm really, really healthy. So that's what I do. I maintain. I'm still doing like hardcore sports, and yeah. Then I do. I watch how I take care of my body, for sure.
mhm.
100%.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And you always seem you've had eight albums. And tell us your recent project. I know you're working on the next one. And yeah, what is the different or style, or different songs, or different pieces you're gonna record?
Okay, so I have recorded my album. This next project is in the can. It's mastered. It's finished. I recorded it at Sarah McLaughlin's studio by invitation with her engineer, which I feel he co-produced, Chris Potter, and I feel so like that was a big up level. And so really, really grateful for that opportunity and for this amazing album I have in my back pocket now. Haven't released it yet, working on a release date. But what's different about it, I feel like it takes that whole detour I went on, like that kind of, I had to time out from, I had to go on a detour, like, a journey of my own. I had to go through trials by fire. And, if you want to go into, some kind of archetypical journey, trial by fire and transform. And so my work, this body of work that I've recorded, really comes out of that period. I got a different piano, got this Steinway B that has this like incredible bass that all of a sudden like this whole range of sound opened up, and I just started writing epic, like different music. Like from that first piece you just heard, I started writing things that sounded like a hero's journey, a heroine's journey. And I remember the very day that the master was done, and I'm actually in Whole Foods. I know you have Whole Foods in the States, and I'm shopping and I'm listening to it. And it struck me suddenly that I'd never listened to it quite this way before. I hope you get this. But I listened to it as though, like for the first time, like it was my story, because I have a narration that goes with this whole thing. It's like loosely based on, the hero's journey, but there's a beginning, middle, and end. The work is a is a complete work with narration, a story, and these pieces. And when I listened to it as my voice, I was actually weeping in Whole Foods. I was like, because I heard a piece called Power Unleashed, and I went, oh, okay, I get why that bass sounds like that. Okay, I was finding my power. And then all the beauty too, all the beautiful moments. So there's that element in this work. I can see how some of my journey shows up to inspire, to kind of have a conversation about the twists and turns of life. It's a very personal album. It's very personal. And it's like a comeback album for me. It's like, I am back. I'm like so back. And I'm so like on fire. I had an epiphany in 2000. When was it? 2011. Because I wasn't doing any music, and I was running in the forest just down the road here next to the ocean, and listening to this beautiful sacred music in my headset. And then I just saw the whole vision of what you had to come back to music. You just give what you have to give, and you just keep showing up. And it's like an epiphany. It's like God speaking to me, and it was it brought me back with a vision, a new vision, and new purpose, and like I'm going, I can do that I can do, and so I've been working really hard since 2011 to get my chops back. So this album also has way more virtuosity in it, way more like I took the lid off of that. I wanted to be much better pianist, so there's it's a lot more technical, but there are also pieces that are more minimalistic as well. I hope that wasn't too much.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I don't. Maybe you can play a little bit of your new album song. I don't know if you want to, but I have a question before music. I grew up with piano playing. My mother was a professional pianist.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she graduated from Shanghai Conservatory, and she worked for the Shanghai Radio Orchestra for 30 years. And she teaches also. So, and my brother was a pianist, but started late. So I always hear them play all these exercise. So my question for you is, what is your like daily, if you practice every day or every time you practice, do you have to go to like a scale and then arpeggio and then like do some exercise before you do your own music? How's your routine?
I used to do that, of course, every single day and more. But now I try and use my repertoire to develop it. And so, now I write music that I can't play. Then I have to learn to play it, and I have to work on it and develop my technique so I can play the music I'm hearing. No, I'm 100% like yeah, that's how I do it. I just write music I can't play, and then I have to train to be able to play it, and it grows me. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anyone else play your music? Like,
No, I have not heard anyone else. I would love that though.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah, would you like to like play a little bit something, or you want to from your album or anything you feel comfortable? Because it will sound really good the first
Oh,
time.
it did. Okay. So, I
But
mean, I
still
can.
maybe it just still maybe if you play again and then not like it play really, really fortissimo, But that was very
A
good.
quiet
I mean,
piece.
it doesn't have to be quiet. Yeah, mezzo forte is good, forte is good, but just don't play fortissimo,
It's hard not to because this piano is so big and powerful. Okay. Let's see. I mean, the piece that's coming to mind actually is not from the new album, but it's called The Quest.
Okay.
And I often play that. And I guess what I want to say about it is why it's pertinent is I came back from music having not played for 8 years. And even during all that kerfuffle, I wasn't being able to keep up a regular rehearsal schedule. So I was really rusty, but I heard this piece and I gave myself a bit of an injury trying to learn to play it. I was a little bit tight, my technique had, but this is a piece that started to grow me back into a little bit more, skill. So I'll play the Quest. Yeah. Okay, here we go. I actually just played the end of it, or like I just gave you an excerpt from it.
That's beautiful.
It's like Quest is sort of what that time period was about. Everyone has a quest. Whether for me it was my health and regaining, the transformation that I went through, the spiritual transformation, the musical transformation, and so yeah, for some reason I just wanted to play the Quest. So thank you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. So we're almost at 6 o'clock Eastern time, and I wanted to ask you, Clubhouse is where I met you, and you love Clubhouse, and me too. If someone do not know what is Clubhouse, can you just give us a little short description, and also tell us a little bit like why you like Clubhouse?
A short description would be, it's this place where you have all kinds of conversations, but I know that's what they say as well, but it's true. All kinds of conversations in real time. It's not like any other social media app where you put something out there and then, oh, you can delete it after, or you can wait for comments. But what you do, what you say, it's in real time, it's live. And so that is what I really love about it, is the immediacy of real people and speaking and connecting and hearing their voices. So there was a part B to that question. What was it, Ching?
How, like, yeah, I was asking why you like it, your answer. And so you joined Clubhouse like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
March 2021.
Yeah. Similar to me. Yeah, I joined in March, sometimes the second week of March. And another feature you did not mention, which is you really set a hold on, you're really a brand on Clubhouse. I see it, because there's no other pianist is playing as much as you do. I know Sherry Grant, a pianist from New Zealand. She gives concerts sometimes, but I think your music is she does it in a scrubbing as a different style, and you do your own composition. So tell us about your relationship between your audience on Clubhouse. Is that some very? I'm sure it's very special.
Oh, it's really special. Clubhouse has changed everything. So COVID, no playing live, but even when I was playing live, it was for Vancouver, and I had a concert series in another location that was in the summer, and I played there all the time. But still, that's a small pond, isn't it? Now you get on Clubhouse. And when I got on Clubhouse, it was a hive of activity, as you remember. It was a hive of activity. And I was incredibly nervous for some reason. Well, it's like playing multiple audiences. It's live. And so I felt a lot of, I worked really hard to overcome a lot of anxiety. And I even remember the first time I posed the question myself. No, hadn't heard anyone playing piano then. I was like, I wonder if I could play piano on here. And I said it to a friend, and she goes, hell yeah. And so we played it, and she invited this person in who happened to be Deborah Wooten, who I didn't know who she was. And now, of course, she's a major person I came to love and adore on the app. And they were both very encouraging. And so I started with just my iPhone on a little stand, and that developed into all this kind of audio experimentation and different configurations. I don't know how many times I went back and forth to the music store with this and that. No, that doesn't work. Give me this. Okay, we'll try that. And so the audio quality and our expertise in that area on Clubhouse evolved. And I feel like it's been amazing to be part of the evolution of the audio world there. Like, I feel like I came from, a certain place, and people shared information, and we all learned together. And that's the other thing I really love about the people in Clubhouse is it's been this tremendously supportive environment, like a culture of flowers. Wherever you played, you get flowers for your contributions. You add value. And
Audra's here. Audra and
look at,
Julie. Hi, Audra. And my son Sean is here too.
nice to see you.
Yeah, so that's indeed. I like Clubhouse a lot, and like you said, it's a real time, right? It's a real time. You click on, you can join, you can listen. I learned so much from Clubhouse, from filmmaking to other techie things to social media to, I don't know, just like so many words I never even heard before. So many now I don't even, pitch deck. I don't know pitch deck before, stuff like that. So yeah, a lot of practical terms and people do teach you. And yeah, so we are approaching 6 o'clock, and I want to do before we do a rapid fire, do you have anything you want to, like in Clubhouse, we'll say, do you have anything you want to promote, or what's your last word?
Thank you, Ching. Well, first of all, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been a real pleasure to be with you. Like, it kind of makes the connection even more. I mean, we've been in this audio environment, but now, to be here with you is really, I really enjoyed it. I talked way too much about a lot of things, and that's because you're such a good interviewer. So, but I would like to invite people to support me by, following me on socials like Instagram and Facebook Music, not my personal site, but Facebook Music. And like, these things I never paid much attention to before, but now I know they're important, especially for this album that I'm trying to launch. It'll open up more doors the more followers I can have. Right, Lalo? Yes, he's like the guru in Clubhouse for all things social media. And yeah, so I would appreciate that. That's for sure. That'd be nice. And follow me on Spotify. That's also someplace I'm supposed to, generate more. And I haven't given it, it feels like a needle in a haystack to me sometimes, Spotify, because, that's, building up, getting on playlists. That's a whole nother full-time job occupation that I haven't dedicated myself to. But it's nice when people follow me there too. I'll
Yeah,
build it.
you have like 6 or 4 albums on Spotify.
I have 4 albums, but 6 on my website.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm holding the other two back, and there's a particular reason for that.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the links of Instagram, also you have a Facebook Music and Spotify and your website. It's all in description below, which is in our YouTube. This talk. Yeah. So you can check out. Yeah. Uh, yeah, let's do. Oh, before do the spot. The what do you call rapid fire. I want to thank people who are here and who are here but not writing comments. Some people are listening. Also, Facebook. And thank you, Lalo. Thank you, Audra. Thank you, Sean, to be with us. And yeah, and we I do this interview once a week, usually on Wednesday 5 p.m. Occasionally on Sunday 5 p.m. But sometimes I accommodate people from overseas with a different time zone, so we'll do in the morning, so it will be their afternoon or evening. Yeah, so watch out, and if you haven't subscribed my YouTube channel, please consider. And I have a lot of videos. I made like more than 900 videos on YouTube channel. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I'm Ching Juhl, and we're gonna do a rapid fire. Okay. So that is just a quick question, quick answer. Okay. All right. Lorian, what is your favorite color?
Turquoise.
Uh, when you go to Chinatown, what is your favorite dish you always order?
Oh, since I changed my diet, I haven't actually eaten there for a long time, so I don't have a favorite. Okay, that's a long answer. I don't know. Jing, next question.
Next question. Okay. Um, when you exercise, what is your exercise? What do you do for exercise?
Right now, I'm training in the gym a lot, so I'm lifting weights, like with a barbell, like squats and deadlifts, and so 3 days a week weights, and 3 days a week I'm doing interval training. So I get on a bike and I will do 12 sets of 20 full blast and then 10-second rest, 20 seconds, 10 seconds. So that's 12 repetitions. And then I do something called kettlebells. So, which is another kind of core weight training program.
Good for you. Good for you. When you are not making music, when you are not exercising, what do you do for so-called fun?
Yeah, I'm not having any fun these days. I'm just doing music and exercise.
Um,
Oh my God, no,
it's
it's like,
funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So,
I've got, like, I wear a lot of hats.
uh,
I'm pretty much 24/7 working on stuff right now. I mean, I've got a book in the works. I've got, I manage my parents' business in the summer. I've got, like, still my coaching business. Like, there's a lot on my plate right now,
do you
honestly.
teach piano?
No, coaching business, like therapeutic coaching, like facilitation. Like, I still have people that I see, that I've seen for years, that I support. So still a
That's
healer. Can't stop that either. So
all time. What is your all-time favorite movie? Or you can name three if you want.
I'm a horrible cinematic person because I've just okay. So I got to say, I like Pride and Prejudice. It's one of my favorite movies. Keira Knightley.
Classic.
Yeah,
Classic.
and yeah. So that's why it's rapid fire, because yeah, you're not supposed to really think about it.
That's okay. That's okay. One is good. One is good.
Okay.
I thought some people have too many, and there's like one. I don't have one. I have many. All right. So yeah. Do you sing?
Not professionally.
Okay. If you have a choice, right? To go to a city which is overseas, maybe, just to relax, which city would you like to travel to?
Well, I'd like to return to. I love Paris. I have friends in Paris. I'd love to go. I like every opportunity. I like going there. So it's not that relaxing though. But the art is just so fabulous. So it fills my creative soul.
And you speak French.
Yes.
That's awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Any book you recommend?
Well, Seth Godin's The Practice, and the other one, so I would recommend that one for creatives, and I would recommend Stephen Pressfield's The War of Art. Highly recommend that one.
The War of Art. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you had an opportunity to have dinner with three persons, like
Andre Bocelli
and
and his whole family, I think, actually. Andre Bocelli, Luca Vito
who's
just so
that?
I could, he's an Italian pianist, and just so I could really get the lowdown and actually network my way onto his record label. And I think the third person would be, oh, I know. I think I'd have dinner with Oprah. For like, seriously,
Nice
right? Who
choice.
wouldn't?
Yeah, nice choice. Yeah. Um, do you watch news?
No, I don't actually watch TV at all. I don't even have a TV.
That's a sign of a civilization, I tell people, because I ask people like, "What's your favorite television series?" And then one person say, I don't have a TV."
And what is that a sign of, did you say?
Sign of a civilization, which people don't watch TV, being civil, you know. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So that was a positive thing then, is
yeah,
that
yeah,
okay?
yeah. So that was
Yeah, so
civilization.
don't ask me any of those kind of questions like what's your favorite
Yeah,
series, or
yeah,
what are you watching on Netflix, or what are you
yeah,
binge watching, because I don't do any of that right now, or
yeah,
ever binge, I mean, no. So
yeah,
I'd like someday maybe when I'm retired.
yeah, yeah. So I know you have a daughter. Were you a strict mother?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
No, we're really more free-spirited.
Does she play the piano?
Yes, and she sings, and she's a great singer-songwriter, and she's very musical, very creative, very artistic, very spiritual. We get along. We're like best friends. She's like she's my best friend. We're pals, like, and have been for a long, long time. Yeah. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
So if you have advice for someone is a younger, like teenager, uh, you have any advice for them if they want to be like what you do, play the piano and compose?
Mhm.
How would you advise them?
Yeah, not to give up in despair. Because the despair comes again and again and again if you're really that artist inside, and when you're still developing and you can't quite hit those high notes, or you can't quite play that piece, or it's a lot of work, like, you know it, Ching, it's like I'm on the other side of a lot of that work. Like now I work and I'm working on pieces that nourish my soul, but there's lots of that woodshedding of scales and all of that technique and theory and all of that stuff. And it can be seem very unrewarding and just hard. And I would just say persevere, because it's worth it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And so are you a vegetarian?
I'm a recovering vegetarian.
That's funny. Yeah. So do you believe vegan? Like
I've
people?
been vegan. I've been vegetarian for years and years. I've been vegan. Now I'm a recovering vegetarian and vegan person. But when I'm left to my own devices, then I'm back to vegan. But yeah, I eat very, very pure food. Just no processed. Yeah. So does that make
That's
sense?
awesome. Yeah. Coffee or tea? Last question, coffee or tea?
No caffeine at the moment.
Oh, you're so good. You're so good.
Yeah, no coffee, but I do like a good, I like green tea, like
Nice.
matcha green tea, and so I used to do that every day, like, that was my go-to, but now I'm not even doing matcha, but every once in a while, like, I did take matcha out. I thought I better light my brain on fire and have some matcha before we have our interview, but I didn't have time. But my
What is
brain's still on
matcha?
fire.
What is a matcha?
It is the Rolls Royce of green tea.
Oh,
Matcha green tea is
I
the
don't know.
Rolls Royce of green
Really?
tea. It is like
Matcha.
green tea on steroids. And they did a study in Japan that 5 cups of green tea a day reduces your risk of ... certainly cancer by a huge percentage. So get your green tea in.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, Arja said, did you talk about water skiing yet?
Where do you say that,
Yeah.
Audra?
So what about it? You do water skiing?
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
very like slalom water skiing. That's my go-to. That's what I've been working on training at for like years and years and years now.
Wow. Wow.
Like that's what my whole athletic focus is tuned into. And so yeah, I slalom water ski, and we do that for 5 months of the year. This year, not so much, although since COVID, it's gotten a little bit reduced. But usually we start in May and go till September. And like 6 in the morning, get up at 5:30, get on the water by 6,
Awesome.
and ski. Yeah. Oh,
Oh, wow. Inca's here. Hi. How are you? We're wrapping up. We're closing the room, you guys. Well, thank you so much, Lorianne. This is so much fun to talk to you and to
it is
see
fun,
you.
isn't it, Ching? I
Yeah.
mean, I've always just loved and adored you from Clubhouse, and so I just feel like I'm meeting with an old friend, and probably I should be much more contained and
No, 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 no. Where I told you my style is very relaxed. I even ask. I gave you Andrew Yan interview. I even asked him, "Do you know a cursing word in Chinese?" And he said that, and I said, "No, that's not correct. Let me teach you later." So
Mm.
yeah, but Helga is here. Okay, Helga is Inca. I don't remember. The people put the funny name on it. Helga
Ah,
is a writer from Clubhouse. Yeah, from Netherlands. Yeah. So yeah, welcome, Helga. It's late for you, dear. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. And I'll see you in Clubhouse, Lorianne. And everybody go listen to her music on Spotify and check her IG. What else? Facebook and
Facebook and
website.
music. Lorianne Speak
Yeah,
Music.
yeah, Facebook
Music and
music.
Instagram. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Instagram. And her website is very handsome. So yeah, check her out. And yeah, thank you so much, Lorianne.
Mm.
I when you come to New York, please let me know.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah.
I would really enjoy that. Thank you, Ching. I'll take you up on that because there's another person from Clubhouse there, Roberta Dignore, and she's a
Yeah.
writer. We'd have a good time, the three of us, I'm sure. So
Yeah, definitely. Okay, thank you and everybody
yes.
being here
Thank
and
you,
yeah,
Lalo and Audra and True. So nice to see you. Thanks for
Helga.
being here. And
Yeah,
Helga, yes.
True After Dark. Who is True After Dark? Do you know?
Yeah, from Clubhouse. She's
Yeah,
another
okay.
Clubhouse. Yeah.
Yeah. See, this is all our Clubhouse gang. Yeah. All right.
Hmm.
And then two people didn't show up today. So I'm going to go ask them, why are you not here? Anyway, thank you so much. And have a great, great evening or morning for you guys, for some of you, afternoon. And see me again on Wednesdays. Okay.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Ching.
Yeah.
Nice to be with you. Bye for now. Bye
Bye. You can click leave studio.
bye.
I'm going to say goodbye to my audience. Bye bye.